What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of interAXEtion, where we answer your questions. So let's just jump right into it, alright? First question. I need some advice. I have no end of trouble actually finishing songs. I have a dozen half-finished pieces just sitting around my computer, and I always just run out of ideas and move on to something else, planning to finish my current project when inspiration strikes. Can you offer any advice on how to actually get songs finished? This is a really common problem. I think everybody goes through this, including myself. A couple things. First, and you didn't actually address this specifically, but I see this question a lot, and this part of it is always tied in. People feel like their riffs or music isn't good enough, so I just want to address that first. So we need to get out of our heads as guitar players and as musicians in general. I know everybody wants to change the world with their music, but that's not going to happen. Alright, so your music has to resonate with you, and if it does that, if it resonates with you, then it will resonate with other people. So you have to make music for yourself and then to what you want to listen to. So when it comes to writing songs, don't let that get in the way. Like, oh, I don't think this is good enough, or I don't like the sound, I don't think it sounds good enough. Just write music. Every riff isn't going to be a masterpiece, and a lot of it doesn't have to be. You'll be surprised. You pick up like a bass or a guitar and write such a simple part and put a bass and put a drum beat behind it, and all of a sudden it works. And you're like, wow, all I was doing was this, and it sounds great. Yes, simplicity works the best. All right. So when it comes to finishing songs, try to take a step back, listen to the song in your head, and based on what you have written, where do you hear that in the context of a song? Is it an intro and a verse? Do you have a chorus and a breakdown? Would you want to end the song with whatever you have written? Try to put some context on it in that sense. And then once you do, try to hear it in your head without listening to it. And don't listen to your guitar part, for example. Like, don't sing your riff in your head. Try to feel the entire groove and drum beat in your head, and then just change it, right? Sing in your head. Where does it take you, right? So those two things can really help a lot, right? Putting it in context, like, what part of the song do I hear this part? Does that lead to, oh, something like this would sound good, something like that would sound good. So are you missing a chorus? Are you missing an intro? Are you missing a verse? Try to put it in that way, and sometimes that can help put pieces together. All right, and sometimes just play the riff, and then whatever happens, just play. Try to improv a rhythm or a guitar part, and see what comes out. It might work, it might not work, but a lot of it's trial and error. Try to mix and match with some of the other ideas you have. Right, obviously based on key and tempo and style a little bit, right? And so that can help. It's a tough project, and there's really no real answer to that. Just little tips, and I hope that helps. Let me know if it does. All right. Great question. I really enjoy seeing a lot of these videos. Not that I have anything against it, but I'm not big on music theory. It's hard for me. I do know a couple scales once in a while, but it's good to kick back and just jam. That being said, I like the video. Looking forward to more of it. How about a rhythm track or a backing track? I really dig the chords that you're using. Thanks a lot. So I recently I posted one. I have a couple more that I'll do on every other Fridays, and it's just basically playing a groove or a riff or some kind of chord vamp, and then coming up with a melody to go on top of it. And I toyed with the idea of turning it into a backing track and just letting you guys have it and jamming over the entire backing track. I just didn't get that far, honestly. I had these little ideas, and I wanted to get it out, and I just released it and I put it out for you guys. In the long run, I'll probably go back and make little backing tracks and make them available for you guys to download. But I appreciate you watching it and checking it out, and I'm glad you dig it. And I do talk a very little bit. I wanted to keep it to an absolute minimum before those videos, just to give you a kind of idea of what I'm doing and why I'm targeting certain notes. But it's not a lesson in any way, but there is a little write-up that you can download with the tabs, and I kind of go a little bit more into it, the theory aspect of it. I know it can be confusing or daunting if you don't know where to look. Cool. Hey Greg, I was wondering if there are any books on theory that you would recommend in particular. I see this a lot, and unfortunately, no. I never learned theory from books. I happen to just take a lot of music theory classes in high school and college, And so that's where I learned it. So I never really needed a book. But that being said, there's a Mickey Baker jazz book that I had for a while, which is really great. Guthrie Govan has a creative guitar, part 1 and part 2. And those really aren't theory books, as they are more of like technique and styling to those genres, but they are a wealth of information. Some of the MI, the Music Institute, I know they make like little series of books. I've had a couple of those. I remember I bought one. It was like on the diminished scale when I was really early on in my playing, and it was, you know, might as well have been reading Chinese because I had no idea what it was saying, but I learned some cool ideas out of it. Now I can kind of go back and actually get something theoretically out of it and understand it. But yeah, there's no, I'm sorry, I just don't know any. But if anybody knows any, please leave them in the comments below. I just never really used them. You know, the internet is a wonderful thing, and if you have a music theory question, just Google it, because there's tons of material out there to help you along. Wonderful lesson. Can you please do a lesson on how to play a pinch harmonic? I know there are some really good tutorials out there, but your teaching style is just something that connects with me a lot. Keep up the awesome work. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And I actually have a video on how to make pinch harmonics. I made it many years ago. I'll redo it just to, you know, modernize it, get better some audio and just overall production going on. And I will redo it, but check it out, search my old videos, how to play, I think it's called How to Play Artificial Harmonics. I'll definitely redo it, but my tip that I can give you now is think of dead notes. I'm sorry, rest strokes. Like when you play classical guitar or fingerstyle bass or just fingerstyle in general, there's, you know, when you pluck a string with your finger, you can actually pluck through the string and rest on the string below it, where you stop on the string. That's called a rest stroke. So think about it the same way when you're picking. First, pick down and have your pick come to rest on the string below it, right? And then you know how to play a normal harmonic, right, where you lightly touch the string with your left hand finger somewhere, usually 5, 7, 12, but you can run all the way up the fretboard and get harmonics everywhere. So if you can do that, think about it as if you're rest stroking with your hand, and then the knuckle of your pick, of your thumb, where you're holding the pick, nips the string and it creates the harmonic. And that's really how you do it. So like I said, I'll try to make I'll redo that video, but until then, check out my old list, alright? Cool guys, great bunch of questions, keep them going. If you have any theory questions or questions about any of my lessons or things like that, leave them down in the comments below. I love the conversation, people are talking to each other, it's great. Let's keep it going, alright? So, as always, let me know what you come up with. Until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.